Where galaxies come from. Many years ago I studied what the Thunderbolts group taught about the Big Bang Theory. Their ideas on how Mars was carved out, I understood very well what they teach. Our planet went through that same carving, and I feel secure in saying it was carved by a plasma arc or bolts. My advice is to understand this better. Go study with the Thunderbolts group. They also teach that the Big Bang never happened. Many scientists teach that everything we see in what they call the universe came from a small speck of matter that blew up and sent matter out, and what we see in the void came from that small speck. Is there an upgraded teaching? I don't know. But if they run into what the Thunderbolts teach, it will scramble their brains. But looking at what the Thunderbolts were teaching, I ran into an astronomer named Halton Arp. The galaxies at the star are some of the galaxies he dealt with that helped him understand where galaxies come from. It's plain to me that Halton and his team discovered how and where galaxies come from, and it's not from what they call the Big Bang. I looked hard for pics that showed what Halton seen and understood where and how galaxies start. Here again is just a few, but there is a very large account of his study on a web page on the net. In my 50 years of studying the history of our Earth and its people, I ran into NASA's webpage, and every day they put up space pictures you can study and understand the void. One day they put up a very large galaxy that I could see very clearly, and it forced me to make a decision. I could understand that something in the center of the picture I was looking at, there was something making white light, and that light flooded the whole galaxy. I looked at other galaxies and found many galaxies that were flooding the whole area of its circumference, and their white light went far beyond the bounds of their stars and matter. I then decided that something was in the center of all galaxies, and it was their creator. I had already decided that the almighty gods of all religions were fake, and someone was blowing smoke up my butt. I had already studied the Sumerian gods that walked and lived on our earth, and how they enslaved the minds of men and women and forced them to treat those people like something almighty and very powerful. But understand me well, these Sumerian gods were biological beings that was very tall and big. Those same gods did die in battle, and others grew old like men, and they also died. My history books told me that those gods were here on earth for thousands of years, but many went back home from where they had come. So getting back to galaxies, I had decided, we also had a creator in the center of our Milky Way. Not long after my decision, someone came into the chat room I dwell in. Someone came into our room and asked, what kind of room was this, and we told that person we were helping people to understand who were the gods. That person asked me if I had ever read the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, the Atlantean god of knowledge. Right away I said no, and he gave me a web page where I could read them. Right away I started reading them, and when I got finished I started all over again. I knew right away I had found someone named Thoth, and he knew the god I had decided was dwelling in the center of our Milky Way, because that's what he was teaching. Thoth was thought by the angels that came down, found in Genesis chapter 6 of the Bible. Thoth's teacher mostly was Enki, the Sumerian god of wisdom, his grandfather. Thoth also said his father, who was Marduk, the god of Babylon, taught him the elder mysteries. Thoth also said that 32 of his descendants, the Atlanteans that came down, and no doubt they helped also. Thoth became very intelligent with his knowledge, and mostly it consisted of celestial knowing, and the gods used him for a long time to teach kings the gods installed in the cities they set up all over the earth. So yes, no doubt Thoth traveled the earth. But one thing among the many things Thoth taught me, is found in the Emerald Tablet 10, the key of time. Here is what he taught: listen, O man, take of my wisdom. Learn of the deep hidden mysteries of space. Learn of the thought that grew in the abyss, bringing order and harmony in space. Know, O man, that all that exists has being only because of the law. Know the law and you shall be free, never be bound by the fetters of night. Far, through strange spaces, I have journeyed into the depth of the abyss of time, learning strange and yet stranger mysteries, until in the end all was revealed to me. Know that mystery is only mystery when it is knowledge unknown to man. When you have plumbed the heart of all mystery, knowledge and wisdom will surely be yours. Seek and learn that time is the secret whereby you may be free of this space. Long have I, Thoth, sought wisdom, yes, and shall seek to eternity's end, for I know that forever before me receding shall move the goal I seek to attain. Even the lords of the cycles know that not yet have they reached the goal, for with all of their wisdom, they know that truth forever grows. Once in a past time, I spoke to the dweller. I asked of the mystery of time and space. I asked him the question that surged in my being, saying, O Master, what is time? Then he, the Master, spoke to me saying, Know, O Thoth, in the beginning there was void and nothingness, a timeless, spaceless, nothingness. And into the nothingness came a thought, a purposeful, all-pervading, and it filled the void. There existed no matter, only a force, a movement, a vortex of vibration of the purposeful thought that filled the void. And I questioned the Master, saying, Was this thought eternal? And the dweller answered me saying, In the beginning, there was eternal thought, and for thought to be eternal, time must exist. So into the all-pervading thought grew the law of time. Yes, time which exists through all space, floating in a smooth, rhythmic movement that is eternally in a state of fixation. Time changes not, but all things change in time. For time is the force that holds events separate, each in its proper place. Time is not in motion, but you move through time as your consciousness moves from one event to another. Yes, by time you exist, all in all, an eternal one existence. Know that even though in time you are separate, yet still are one in all times existent. Ceased then the voice of the dweller, and I departed to ponder on time. So did you notice he spoke of a place called void? The void is where all galaxies dwell, it's just empty space, and the void he was speaking of was the space in the void where that force would create our Milky Way galaxy. He said that force started there before matter started being created. So it makes me wonder if our Creator created stars first or matter. So I found this pic and wonder if stars are first and matter comes in later. Have a look. This will end the first part of our video, so let's progress to the second part and take in a little more knowledge.